Hey, my friends, and welcome back to The Composed Artist. I'm your host, Stephanie Gaffney, and today I'm so excited to introduce to you my friend, Ruth Oneya. She's an incredibly talented artist out of Birmingham, Alabama, and I just found out that she paints with watercolor, acrylic, and oils based on what she's painting, so that's fun. We got to talk about that, and also we're going to kind of dive into the topic of burnout, okay? I don't know if you've ever experienced burnout. I certainly have, and it's no fun. And getting out of burnout is quite an experience, and it's different for everybody. So I was really pleased that she wanted to talk about her recent experience with burnout and what she's doing now to, I guess, not go back into that that stage of burnout. It's something that artists kind of fall into occasionally whenever we take on too much or we don't set boundaries or set limits for our work because we are our work. It is so easy to become completely sucked in to all the tasks that are required to run a business such as ours. So without further ado, I'd love to introduce to you my friend Ruth. Welcome to The Composed Artist, the podcast where we explore the intersection of artistry, entrepreneurship, and self-improvement and continue to pursue a more composed life. I'm your host, Stephanie, an artist specializing in live wedding painting, living in the vibrant and soulful city of New Orleans. Over the past decade, my job has taken me all over the world, meeting and creating art in front of thousands of people, and has allowed me to create a colorful life for myself and my family. Now, I help other artists build confidence, develop their techniques, and fall in love with the art of live wedding painting. I invite you to join us for inspiring stories of creative journeys, practical tips for running a successful art business, and honest conversations about the joys and challenges of running a studio and being a parent. This podcast is here to keep you company, keep you entertained, and is full of resources to help you on your journey to create a business that feeds your soul, makes an impact, and is insanely profitable. The Composed Artist is the podcast for the bold, creative, passionate, and genuine artist. Let's get started. Ruth, how did you get into live wedding painting? Did somebody ask you to do it and you had never heard? That was my story. Somebody asked me to paint at their wedding and I was like, no, that sounds terrifying. Had you heard about it before or were you promoting it? How'd you get into this business?
Actually, for me, it was very random. I was graduating college and I needed a way to make more money in my creative stuff that I was doing. Because at the time while I was in college, I was doing a lot of watercolors. And I was like, I wonder if there's something bigger, more that I could do. I still wanted to have a full-time job, but I just wanted more out of my art jobs, I guess I could say. And so after I graduated, I did some research and Maggie popped up. And I was looking at her stuff and I was so intrigued and it was beautiful. And I was like, I wonder if I could do that. I mean, I probably can't, but I wonder. And so I just kind of just jumped into it, honestly. In my first wedding, I went in super blind. I didn't practice. Please don't do this. I didn't practice, but I knew what I needed to get the job done. And so I just reached out to a photographer friend and I asked her to put me in her next wedding as a gift to the couple. And she was like, oh my gosh, yes. And so that's how I did my first wedding. And
what a great idea.
Yeah.
When was that? How long has it been?
2018, I graduated. So it was like the May of 2018. So it's been a minute.
Yeah, got it. I know. And somehow it's like flown by. It feels like it's just been a minute. Isn't that wild? Did you did you do that painting in watercolor because that's what you were comfortable with? Or did you jump right into acrylic?
I jumped right into acrylic. I don't know what I was thinking.
How was it? Wait, tell us the experience of making that painting. When you showed up, did you have a plan? Did you know like the moment you were going to paint? How big was the painting? Did you finish by the end of the night? Like tell me the whole story.
So it was a 16 by 20. I did not have a plan, but I did know what I was painting. They wanted me to do the first dance. and I was just gonna kind of do it how I've seen Maggie do hers, where she would go early, and I did the whole research of how people do it. And so I went early, I did the background. I thought it looked great. It was like a huge house, and the wedding was in the backyard. And so I did the background, and it has this huge house in there. And the couple did their first dance in the backyard. And after I got a recording of the first dance, I went back to add it into the painting, and I realized I painted the whole house, but I didn't consider the fact that humans next to the house look like ants. Like, it was so huge.
Mm.
And so I was stuck in, oh my gosh, do I just paint them really tiny, or do I like fake it? And because I didn't practice much, I wasn't aware of the fact that if you pull them closer, they can look bigger and stuff like that. I didn't really think about angles. And so I just plopped them in there, and I hated that painting. I did not give it to the client. I actually ended up offering them a watercolor instead. I was like, I know how to do this, so I just want you to take this as a gift from me. And I did a watercolor of their first dance. And funny thing is, they wanted the painting
Oh my
too, but I
gosh.
was so not proud of it. I was like, this is the worst thing I've ever made, and I know how to paint.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was hectic. Please, nobody do that. But it gave me a chance to really try and see if I can paint in front of people, what I'll do
Mm-hmm.
under pressure, So I I would do things differently, but I still think that it kind of formed me as an artist.
Yeah.
So
Oh, what a great story. Did you
yeah.
keep the painting at least for a little while, or did you chunk it right away?
I want to say that I kept it and then I chunked it. But honestly, I don't remember what I did with that painting. I'm not sure if I painted over it.
Mm-hmm.
It like got lost in the
Yeah.
memories and all the other paintings. I just didn't want to see it anymore. I kind of regret it though. I feel like I should have
Yeah.
kept it as like the painting that established this career. But at the time, I didn't know that it was
Yeah.
going to get this big. I didn't know that this is what I'll be doing for the next 5 years, 6 years. Um, so, yeah. And I
Mm-hmm.
didn't do watercolor because
Oh, that's so
it
cool.
was very scary. If you think about it, watercolor, like if you do it on an easel, it'll drip and all that. So I was really, really nervous about how that would look like at the end. And I just felt
Yeah.
like I could trust acrylics a little bit more, despite me not really using them that much.
What you may have heard me talk about my little side business, my little fine art print shop. I create an original painting, I take a photo of it, and I print it, and I print it again and again and again. I make hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars a year on prints. It's so easy. And I learned everything I know about creating my own prints and printing them in house from Laurie Ann Gonzalez and her Art to Print course. I highly recommend, if you are an artist and you want to make easy money from your original works and even the commission works, you can resell those as prints. I recommend you check out Art to Print. Laurie Ann has a very direct way of teaching, and you are really going to appreciate her no fluff method of giving you information and telling you exactly what you need to do to make making fine art prints in your own studio a breeze. You can check her out online at learn.laurieannart.com. That's learn at LaurieAnnEart.com, or just click the link in the show notes for my affiliate link. Check her out and thank me later. What did you major in college?
I did
What
graphic
was your major
design.
in college?
Graphic design.
And that has come in handy, hasn't it? It's come in handy for me. That was my
Very.
major too.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I think having a graphic design background, I think they go hand in hand. What do you think?
I think having a graphic design background, it just gives you a little bit of training, like a tool, like a special tool to use for like marketing and visuals, something that if you didn't know how to use the Creative Cloud, like Illustrator and the design programs, then without that knowledge, you have to that's just one more thing you have to figure out when you're starting a business. But with those skills, you have an eye for design for sure. Along with the little classes, the little studio fine art, like I can't remember the word, but like the individual classes you can take in college that
Hmm.
kind of
Hmm.
can add up to a minor or a major, whatever. Those were really fun. It's in the realm of art, yes. You do learn color theory, you learn balance, you learn composition and what's pleasing to the eye and what's good design and bad design. So that's definitely helpful. In terms of
Hmm.
painting, not so much.
No,
Like using
I
using
think
your hands and create. Yeah, tell me.
I think it goes in the business side of things when you consider the business
Mhm.
part of your job. Because I feel like as much as we are artists, we are also business people. Like it's just part of what we do. And so being
Mhm.
able to see your brand from the eye of a designer, I feel like just adds a little extra thing on top of what we already do. And it's really helped me personally
Yeah.
because I've been able to brand myself as I've been growing. And I was actually just updating my website the other day, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is like my third logo. And I was thinking, this would have been a lot of money, first of all, but also my brand is growing with me. I feel like my first logo was
Mhm.
very like youthful, very, you can see kind of how I've grown as a designer, first of all. And just also as an artist, you can kind of see the progress in my branding as I keep changing it.
Yeah. I know, I love that. I love being able to see your brand evolve with you and your style and who you're trying to attract as your audience and your customers and things like that. So your
Yeah.
brand has evolved with you as you've grown as a person. What about your paintings? Have you noticed evolution and improvement over the years in your art?
Oh my gosh. Yes. Oh, I'm I'm almost surprised, I want to say. Not saying that I didn't know I would get like so much better. Um, but if you look at like my first painting or my paintings from my first year compared to my paintings now, it's like night and day. And I just, first of all, I'm very proud of myself because I just never thought this is what I'll be doing and this is where my work will get to. And so I'm really happy with
Mm.
how my hand is naturally becoming like painting. Earlier in my career, I really had a hard time finding my style, and I would go around trying to find a style, and I would copy other people's styles, and I'll kind of try to paint in a way that will give me a style. And at one point, I just decided to stop trying so hard to get a style and just kind of paint how I want to paint. And naturally, that
Yeah.
evolved into what I have now, where I feel like if you were to put my work against other people, you can say, oh, that's Ruth's work. And that's something I'm very
Mhm.
proud to be able to do now.
Yeah. And I love your work. I love your work. I
Thank
love
you.
the consistency in your style. I love how you approach portraiture. I love how you let your underpainting like peek through so it's just kind of glowing around the edges. Like it is a very distinct style and I'm so it makes me smile every time I see your work like pop up on Instagram, or every now and then I'll go look at your website because we've been friends for years. And so, every now and then
Mhm.
I'll go peek at what you've updated and changed and yeah, your branding is certainly on point. It's beautiful.
Thank
Is there
you.
something okay, this is something that I've been interested in for a long time and with my online course and I'm teaching students and having to have conversations about websites and branding and what's really important, because a logo, it's a visual of the brand. It's a visual of your name or your signature or whatever you've called your company or yourself as an artist. But in terms of websites and design and using websites more as a tool, what have you learned that's worked out really well in terms of converting people that have come to your website just to kind of poke around or look at your work? What about your website or your brand as a whole has really been working for you lately?
I'll say to answer this, I have to be a little biased because I have to use my design eye. I really do want my website to be like an experience for people when they come see, and also for them to be able to seamlessly go from one link to the other um, without thinking too much
Mhm.
about it. And so I think the ease of use is what has been really helpful for many. Being able to go to the website and they want to look at the price or they want to look at where to inquire and they know exactly just where to click. I think that really helps send people my way.
Yeah, it's a beautiful website. It's a beautifully designed website, but it's very user friendly
Thank
too. Would you mind
you.
spelling out your website for people? Like, let everybody know. You can do it again at the end of this episode, but since we're on the
Hmm.
topic and people are listening and maybe watching on YouTube, where can people go and take a peek at your website?
Yeah, you can go to ruthonea That is RUTHONEYAILLUSTRATIONS.com. It's a long name.
I love the
Thank you.
experience. It is,
Thank you. Thank you.
girl. It's long, but it is better than Stephanie Torregrosa, which is what I had
We
my whole
look.
life. And you know what? I kept it.
I love it. And it's very like when I see your logo, even if it's this small, I know it's you. So I really do like it. And I feel like in the beginning, I
Thank you.
did go through a bunch of different changes with my logo. I think I started as Roots Art or something like that. It's so funny to like go back and look at,
Yeah.
what your Instagram name used to be. And so
Yes.
having to come up with the official name that people will know you by now. Um, that's kind of been hard. And I feel like I don't know if I'll change it. Maybe just take away illustrations and just let it be my name. I don't know.
Yeah. Why have you kept? I mean, do you mind me asking why you've kept illustrations? Do you own Ruth? Like, do you have RuthOneya.com?
Yes, I do have ruthonea.com.
I
And
think,
I
yeah,
use
I
that.
think you should definitely use that for sure.
I think so. Okay. That's fair because it's easy to type, it's quick. That's fair. Um, I don't know why I never just put it on there. That's fine. Okay. Yeah.
You can definitely have it redirect. So you can, if you have like business cards where the website is printed on it already, you can have multiple domain names redirect to your website. So I have one of the Torgrosa was very long and hard to spell. And when people would ask and I would have to spell it out, I was like, okay, I need something else. And so I bought, when I was living in Baton Rouge, I bought brartist.com. It was available. I was like, heck yeah. So I bought that and that directs to my with torgrosafineart.com. And so sometimes I will just say brartist.com. That'll take you to the website. And if
Oh,
people are
that's
just typing it
smart.
in directly, it's not. Yeah, and it does direct, I think, to stephanietorgrosa.com direct. Like I'm so part of my, it's not like a bad habit. It's like some people collect purses, some women collect shoes. I collect domain names. And so
Oh
I
my
own
gosh.
hundreds of domain names. I know, like if I
Really?
have an idea for a business, I'll buy the domain. Y'all, this is such a good advice. If you have children, buy your kids' domain, like their names.com, because if you never know if they like start a business or, become want to build something and use their name and own their name. So that's good advice. You have to pay for it and you have to keep paying for it, but it is a fun little hobby of
Oh
mine. And so
no.
I do have a bunch of different domains. So I know that. I know you can buy
Okay.
different domains, a domain where like location based. So where are you located?
I'm in Birmingham, Alabama.
So you can look up domains that are location specific. Birmingham live painter, Alabama
That's
live
so
painter, like
smart.
things like that. You can
Um,
see what's available, and then because people may be searching those things as well, and it may
mm,
automatically direct them to your website. I don't know. That's just a fun game for me.
that
I
is
like
so
I like to
smart.
do that.
I'm definitely doing that. I love that.
You should do that. Yeah, and then like in terms of illustrations, are you doing any more? Are you still doing watercolors or commissions or things like that? How much of your business
Yes.
as an artist, an independent artist making a living on your work, how much of that is live paintings compared to other works?
It's definitely shifted over the year, like over the years. I'll say it started with a lot of watercolors. I used to do a lot of watercolors and probably like 20 weddings a year. Um, and slowly the watercolors have been getting pushed out, not because I don't enjoy them, just to make sure that I have time to do everything. So I've been doing less watercolors,
Mm-hmm.
but I do still do them. I'm actually working on some today.
That's so fun. What kind of watercolors are? Is it like an original kind of collection, or are they commissions for people? What are you doing?
Most are commissions, but I have started working on some original pieces, but they're not in watercolor. I've yet to dive into original watercolors, which I'm not sure why. Um, See, I tend to have this thing where I love jumping into new things when I'm trying something. And so
Mhm.
while I've been trying to do originals, I jumped straight into oils. For what reason, I don't know. But yeah.
I love that. No, that's such a great way to experiment with a new medium. Had you had any experience with oils before, or you're just like, I use oils now?
Yeah, no, I have not had any experience before. I was at the art store one day and I ran into these oils that he said that you could clean them with water. And that was my initial issue with oils,
Mm,
all the stuff, the fumes, they say. And so I was really nervous
yeah.
about having them in closed spaces. But this one specifically said, oh, you just need soap and water to wash it off. But it still works the same as the regular oils. And the brand itself was like a well known brand. And so I bought some and I've been practicing with those since. So I'm trying to see. I don't like the drying
Do you know what
time.
the
Oh my
brand is?
gosh.
We can.
The brand is Winsor and Newton. I
That is a
think.
popular brand, and it's water soluble.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah,
awesome. So you hate the
they call
drying
them
time. What are
water
you
mixable.
painting with oils? Yeah, water mixable. Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Okay, so you hate the drying time. What do you love about using them though?
Oh, the butterness. Oh my gosh, it's
Yeah,
like
what do you love?
so
Mhm.
soft. It's so
Yeah.
soft. Um, but the thing is, with the softness, the downside of it is things can get muddy really quickly. And it took me a while to learn that.
Mm-hmm.
But I do love how soft it is and how when two colors meet, they kind of can mix really nicely together. It's just a really unique experience. Um, but I will say, because I started with acrylics and then because of you, I went into open acrylics. I feel like it just made sense to be the next step. So,
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so you
are
love
you
the still using cheap art supplies? Look, you don't have to tell me, but if you want to level up, you have to use better supplies. Come on, let's invest a little. I've been using Rosemary and Company for my paintbrushes for the past 5 years or so, and I have never thrown away one of these brushes. The quality is unmatched, and they're like reasonably priced. I hate to say it, but they're the best. So I love a long handled paintbrush. Okay. I love a hog hair or an ivory, which is kind of a mixed bristle hair. And Rosemary and Company, they have like so many options. So I would check them out. The website is www.rosemaryandco.com. That's Rosemary spelled Rosemary and co.com. Or you can just click the link in my show notes and it'll take you directly to my personal wish list. It's all the brushes that I use and recommend. So check them out and thank me later. Okay, so you love the open acrylics. You use those with your for your weddings. You bring those on site.
yes, yes. And I use nothing else. I used to use the regular acrylics, and it really was a pain how quickly they dried. And also how quickly you couldn't mix them on the canvas. Like you couldn't blur things. It will dry really quickly. I mean,
Mm.
I guess you can, but you just have to work really fast. And while live painting, you do have to be fast. I personally, I'm not the fastest painter. Um, and so the the open paintings, they allow me to blend things and they stay wet on your palette the whole night and it's just seamless feel with them. It's a nice little in between the oils and the acrylics.
Yeah. I agree. I think that I would not have switched because I switched to oils last year for weddings. So I do the live wedding painting in oils now, which is wild. We can talk about that if you want. But I don't think I would have, I don't know. I don't know if I would have switched to oils sooner because of how much the drying time of heavy body acrylics bothered me. So it really bothered me, the chalkiness of it. Even using like slow drying mediums, that was really bugging me. And so I'm glad I was introduced to the Golden Open brand when I
Mhm.
was, because I used that for years. I mean, maybe 5 years. I was primarily using the Golden Open brands and then supplementing with a few pigments that I wanted um, more a more opaque color.
Mhm.
Um, I would supplement with M Gram. M Gram is a really good brand for oils and acrylics too. But yeah, I don't know if I would have switched to oils faster, or like if it would have taken me so long to switch to oils, or taken me longer, because the
Mm.
Golden Opens are also kind of buttery, you know? I don't
Yeah.
know, I love it. And then your work is very
I,
vibrant. So one thing that people have mentioned, it's like the hang up on the Golden Open brands is the transparency. They seem to be more
mm.
transparent or translucent than the heavy bodies. The heavy
Mhm.
bodies seem to be heavier body, like more opaque, more pigmented. And I it didn't bother me so much. I used a lot of paint when I painted. Do you use a lot of paint? Because it doesn't seem like your work is very translucent or, or thinned out, like, because that you can see that kind of effect happening. So how
Mm.
do you enjoy working with the opens and handle the transparency issue?
When it comes to how I use the opens, I've actually never noticed. I guess I've never noticed that they were so much thinner because I use the thinness to my advantage. I don't finish my paintings
Mm,
at the weddings, so I kind of work a thin layer to begin with. I do want it to be thin. I don't want it to be so thick that I can go back and rework it. So when I bring it back to the
yeah,
studio, that's when I get really thick with the painting. So actually, for me, I like the fact that they're thinner. Um, it just works
yeah.
out.
See, guys, it works.
Mhm.
I'm not crazy. That's something that people have brought to my like. Have you noticed the transparent? Well, yeah, I did. I mean, I can tell the difference, but it worked for, I guess, the process, like my process, how I painted with
Yeah.
them. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, that's good. That's awesome. So you live wedding painters. Have you taken a minute to evaluate your business yet? Have you started to think about next year yet? As this year comes to a close, it's important for each of us to take a moment and reflect. Did you hit the goals you set for yourself? Did you set goals at the beginning of the year at all? Was there any clarity in your vision for your creative business? Or have you just been hanging on for the ride? Now, imagine starting next year with a clear plan, a year where you're building a stellar portfolio and booking dream weddings, showing up with confidence, and taking bold steps toward your career goals. That's exactly what my goal setting workbook is here to help you achieve. Created for the members of my online course, The Wedding Painter's Blueprint, the goal setting workbook is more than just a place to jot down ideas. It is your roadmap to success for the year ahead. With guided evaluations, you'll identify your unique personal and professional challenges. You'll address physical and psychological elements that might be holding you back. And you will set clear, achievable goals and map out the steps to reach them so you can turn your vision into reality. This workbook is free to download and print so you can physically write down your goals. It includes tools to help you track your growth and adjust as needed, and will actually help you take vague dreams and turn them into concrete plans, and turn those plans into real success. Next year doesn't have to feel uncertain. The goal setting workbook will help you take charge of your career and step into the new year with purpose and direction. Click the link in the show notes to download your free version of my goal setting workbook and kick 2025 off with clarity. Awesome. So you work in all three mediums: watercolor, acrylic, and oils. I guess you devote each medium to each purpose or service. Would you ever like
Mhm.
cross? Would you ever try oils live at a wedding?
No. No, because even here at the
No.
studio, even here at the studio when I'm working with it, the fact that I come back the next day or even 2 days later and I can still wipe it off the canvas, that's crazy to me. I can't have that. And I know I recently saw you talking about how you travel with them. That's more work.
Mhm.
That's insane. So no, I
Yeah.
don't think I would do oils at a wedding. I have done watercolors at a wedding before. Never again. So
Yeah.
I think where they
Yeah.
are is perfect. Commissions being watercolors, and I'll probably do some original watercolors. Um, but other than that, I think I found my piece. Like open acrylics for weddings is perfect for me.
Yeah. That's awesome. I'm glad. I'm glad that you're happy with the mediums that you use.
Mhm.
That's the main thing, that you feel confident. Now you know how to do the job and you know what to expect and how to prepare and all that stuff.
Mhm.
You also feel confident with what's laid out before you and what the plan is. And uh,
Mhm.
good. Let's switch gears for a minute. You recently told me that we've talked about you coming on as a guest for a while. And then you had mentioned that you needed a break because you were experiencing some burnout. Do you want to talk about that? How did you
Yeah.
become burnt out? How did you get so overworked? And then what did you do to come out of that season of burnout?
Yeah. I think what led to my burnout was not allowing space for me to take breaks and also not enjoying making time to enjoy um, my relationships around me and also my own personal space. Um, and so I've had to be really intentional on when I take breaks. So, for example, I'll make sure that I'm not booked for somebody's birthday. Like, if I want to be there for my mom's birthday, so I'll make sure I don't book a wedding on that weekend. And I think last year I was really struggling with having back to back weddings and not putting a weekend in where I just didn't see anybody or do anything. And I get really overstimulated. As much as I do enjoy painting at the weddings, I am an introvert at heart. And like, it really does make me,
Mm-hmm.
I want to go home and be like alone. I don't want to talk to
Yeah.
anybody. I just want my own space. And so, not allowing enough time to do that, um, I feel like that really led to that. And also in the in between. So I have a wedding this weekend, and then I'll work throughout the weekend doing either commissions, originals, and all this stuff. And then I'll have a wedding the next weekend. And let's say that wedding is out of town. And so I just felt like I was going, 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 going. And nowhere did I see an ending. And it felt like, when do I get to sit down and do nothing? I just want to sit down for a second.
Yeah.
And so that really felt overwhelming. And now I feel better. Now I feel better. But I will say I had to make time to sit down. And I did end up taking about 3, 4 weeks off, not from working, but from traveling to weddings or painting at weddings, and making time to paint at the studio.
Yeah. Good. Oh, that's so good. I know I've been there. Burnout is so hard, and it does look different.
Mm,
It looks different whether it's like traveling, because the job is exhausting. The job, and I'm an extrovert, and so I kind of at the end of the night, I'm kind of like jazzed, like I've got this like runner's high kind of thing that happens. So my poor husband, I come home at 1 a.m. and he's like, tell me tomorrow. I don't want to know. But even then, it's like it is draining to stand and do the work, to do the creative, productive work, to make all the decisions. I mean, it surely you burn so many calories. Like, it is exhausting to make
mhm,
the hundreds of decisions that we make, actually creating the work, and then interacting with guests, and like bringing this energy, this smiles and
mhm, mhm.
presence that you have as a performer, and then do that night after night. And if you have like a double header where you have a Friday and a Saturday,
Yeah,
good luck. Like, that's just, you're
yeah.
completely drained. And then you wake up Monday morning and you start answering inquiries and emails because it doesn't stop. And then you do commissions and, oh, like you do need to. I know some people who work in the wedding industry who take Monday off, which is
Mm-hmm.
wild because Monday is Monday. Monday is the day number one, day one of the week. But it's not really because we work all weekend. And so taking Monday to sleep in, do grocery shopping, do any errands that need, but just like no presence, no
Yeah.
um, client facing type of energy. Have you ever thought about taking a whole day off? Wait, better question. Have you implemented a boundary to help you prevent burnout from happening again? Like taking a day off or
Uh,
something.
Honestly, no, I haven't. I probably need to, but
Well, let's do that
the
together. What are we going to do? What kind of boundary are we going to set for you?
uh, the thing about taking off, like my friends always tell me this. They're like, "You don't know how to take off. You say you're off, but really you're at the
Mm-hmm.
house putting together like your social media. Really, you're here typing emails and doing this and coming up with plans for this and building this and like there's just my mind is always going. There's never really a time where I can just be off, quote unquote. Um, so my idea of off is different. And my idea of off is more like I get to, work on less stuff. Maybe only work 2 hours that day. So that's something
Mm-hmm.
I'm struggling with. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's all right. You'll figure it out. And then, you have
Mhm.
this wonderful opportunity where every day is a new day and every week's a new week, you know. You don't have kids yet and I have to like sometimes I'm forced to not work, which is hard because like yesterday one of my kids threw up and so I still did what I had to do because Chris stepped in but then as soon as I finished a client call or a coaching call, I closed the door and had to stop working the rest of the day so he could go back to work. And so that's kind of an abrupt being pulled away from work type of forced rest, even though it's not really rest, it's just kind of a break. But when I
Mhm.
think about like, at 3 o'clock, I'm going to walk out of the studio and go do the things that I need to do, get dinner ready or whatever. That is, that's it's hard to do it just because I'm off of work. It's like I still want to be working. I think that's our curse is that
Yes.
we love
Oh
what
my
we do, the creative work, and whether it's like
Mhm.
painting or like working on the website or doing a design rebrand or like editing a
Yes.
reel on Instagram, answering inquiries. Like I love to go through my emails and see, I want you at my wedding. I want you at my wedding. I want you at my wedding. Like that's like fulfilling. It's like business, you're seeing business go well kind of thing. So you want to like
Mhm.
stay in it. It's really hard to peel away. If you had a hobby that wasn't painting or wasn't art business related, what would you do?
Photography. I
Yeah.
love I love taking photos. I love going on a walk and just like taking photos of like different things that capture my eye. Um, but the curse that I have with that
Mm-hmm.
is always, oh, this will be a nice painting. Everything is always like, oh, this will make a great painting. So yeah, I think that's what it
Mm-hmm.
would be. I do have to say these days, I moved homes recently, and where I moved, my patio has a view of the sunset and it is gorgeous. Every day around the same time the house turns orange and you can just see the sun going down and it's so beautiful. So I do try to make it home to sit down on the couch and just kind of watch the room change and the sunset, because I just feel like I need to enjoy those kind of moments and not always work. I don't find it healthy for what I to do what I do. I do think breaks are necessary, and I do think I need to make more time for me and not get overwhelmed by everything and like not be so focused in moving the business that I forget about my own mental health. So yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Do you like to travel just for fun? Like go to the beach or go to, up in the mountains or anything like that? Are you like an indoor cat?
I do like to travel. I will say I love to travel, But most of the time when I do travel, I travel with the weddings. And so because I travel so much for weddings, I tend not to make travel plans outside of that. Um, which traveling for weddings has given me really great opportunities to see cities I would never even think to visit. So I do enjoy that, but every once in a while I'll get like to go to like Savannah, Georgia just to be there, and it'll be a nice experience and I'll just exist. And I love going with people who like love to make plans. That way I can just be like walking around and not having to think. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Hmm.
like going on trips with people who are itinerary people because I'm not. I'm like, I'm going with the flow.
Oh
I'm not
gosh.
making a decision. I'm following because when you travel for work, you
Mhm.
like you have to be very present and very aware of timing and very aware of safety and very, like, oh, oh,
I have to
someone work.
say,
I get
I
it.
am the itinerary person. It's me. I'm on ChatGPT trying to make the perfect itinerary, time stamp, and everything. So I am the problem.
Oh, well, you and I need to go travel places.
Yes. Honestly, my friends love
Oh,
traveling with me. They just know they're gonna have fun. They just know they're gonna know what to do. And so yeah, I'm always
that's
working, see?
fun. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Um,
Well, that's
but I
okay
will
because
say,
go ahead.
I was gonna say I have been very conscious about how many weddings I'm gonna start taking every year. At first, I was like, let me take
Oh,
everything, but I did decide to reduce that
yeah.
number. Right now, I'm between 25 and 35. I know that's a wide range, but it really just depends. Um,
Hmm.
but I'm trying to even go low. If I could stick to like 20 weddings a year, that would be great. I want to make sure that I'm adding value to the painting and I'm making time and I'm not stressed while I'm working on somebody's painting, um, and just be my full self when I'm creating these pieces. And part of that is not being overwhelmed by taking every single client that comes along. It's sad that I have to say no to so
Hmm.
many people, but I think it's valuable to my clients for me to be in a good mental space whenever I'm working and doing stuff for them.
Hmm. Yes. Yeah, 100%. Because if you're exhausted or you're so busy and so overwhelmed that you can't, like, you can't be 100%, you can't give 100%. And then the client experience that when I get super busy and I have paintings pile up, I feel terrible because the clients are waiting a little bit longer for their paintings, and every single day that goes by it's like more disappointment, less excitement, and the client experience suffers. And so you have to think about that too. Like, you have to think about your experience as the artist creating the work, and what you put into it and what it looks like and what it feels like and all that. But there has to be a consideration for the client experience as well. And I think limiting, like, setting those boundaries and limiting the weddings that you take so that you can be more present and make sure your clients have your full presence and your full participation in the project. 100%.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
great advice. Everybody listen. That is very mature and healthy advice from somebody who has been in the business for a number of years and who has experienced burnout and does not want to do it again. 100%. Because you think, oh, I want to take as many weddings, and I think everybody should. I will say that I think everybody should try, especially the newer artists who have maybe a
Mhm.
year or two under their belt or are just getting
Mhm.
started. I think you should try to do as many as possible one year to push yourself to the limit. Okay. Also to start earning, because it's
Mhm.
hard getting into this business. It's hard to
Yeah.
gain that momentum. And then, especially if you go full time, now you have bills to pay. So it is important to kind of hustle. I'm not like hustle. I hate that word, and I hate the culture, the cultural stigma
Yeah.
behind it. But I think it's important to work as hard as you can and push yourself to the limit, and then make as much money as you can, and then pull back a little, and then make better
Yeah.
decisions and grow that way. Because if you're just doing what's comfortable, like, growth
Mhm.
happens outside of the comfort level.
Mm-hmm.
So I
That's
love to
true.
hear that you're reining it in. Anytime I hear a live painter say, I'm actually going to try to do fewer this year, I'm like, okay, we're there. We're good.
Yes,
This is
yes.
it. This is a talented, wise business art live painter.
Yes, yes.
I love to hear that. God,
Yeah.
I'm so excited for you. Okay. Fellow entrepreneurs, listen up. Let's talk about protecting your business. We all know that having a solid contract is essential, but drafting them is daunting and can be very expensive. I'm an artist, I'm not a lawyer for a reason. That's where the legal page comes in. The legal page offers attorney drafted contract templates tailored for creatives and small business owners like you and me. Whether you're a photographer, an artist, a business coach, a designer, or an event planner, or what have you, they've got you covered. These templates are easy to customize and come with very clear instructions that include free future updates. That's huge. I was honored to be asked to review their live event artist contract, and it checks all the boxes for me. Don't leave your business vulnerable. Invest in peace of mind with the Legal Pages contract templates. So, if you're ready to get your business legally legit, head to the show notes and click the link to save 10% off any product in the shop, or use my code StephanieG10. Again, get your business legally legit with a Legal Page contract today. Okay.
Thank you.
I want to hear. So it sounds like you travel a lot for work. I want to hear
Mhm.
the best place you've been or your favorite experience traveling to a destination for a wedding.
Okay. Last year, I got to go to Montana. And I don't know what I
Oh,
imagined Montana to look like in my head. I've never looked it up. And this is what I mean by saying that live weddings have allowed me to really experience things that I would have never thought of. So I've never looked up
mhm.
Montana. And so I do look it up after I get the inquiry and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. But the pictures do not make sense. Like they do not give the place
Mm.
any justice. When I arrived to destination, and it was an elopement, first of all, so it was a very, very small wedding. And where they were having their ceremony, the Glaciers Park, I think that's the name, beautiful. Oh my gosh, I've never seen mountains so close to my face. I've never seen water so clear. I was just looking at a
Yeah.
laptop wallpaper, like like it looked
Yeah.
unreal. I just wanted to stand there and stare at it.
Wow.
So I would say that's probably the top place that I've been. And I also went to San Diego one time, which I thought I really enjoyed that side of the country.
Yeah, it's a long flight,
Mhm.
especially coming
It is.
back. It's like 7 hours with the time change, but it is. I like San Diego too. Different
Mhm.
for different
It
reasons.
is.
Montana. Oh my gosh, you just hit the nail on the head. It's so picturesque out there. Colorado too.
Yes.
Anywhere with mountains because we live in the South. We live in the deep South, so that is flat land and
Yeah.
Spanish moss on
Yes.
oak trees, which is beautiful. I love Louisiana, but yeah, there's something about the mountains. Ooh, it makes me very excited thinking about it. Okay, I'm gonna give you a second to think because I didn't prepare you
Okay.
for this question.
Okay.
Tell us a story about the worst thing, the worst experience, the worst painting. Give me some tea on an
Mhm.
experience you had as a live wedding painter that was horrible.
Let me think. Let me think. I will say I have really good experiences. Um,
Good.
my clients are mostly great. My clients are great. Um, the wedding experience is great. Um, and sometimes I'm so focused, I feel like I don't pay attention to things happening. But I will say,
Yeah.
recently, there was a fire and it was very close to my easel.
Oh
um,
my God.
and I remember thinking, why would they do that? You know the sparkles that they
Mm,
light at the end
mhm.
to do like the exit? They were lighting those, and somebody took their sparkler and put it in the bucket that had the rest of like a bunch holding all the sparklers. And they lit one, and that one lit the rest of them, and it pretty much blew up, and he was
Wow.
inside. So,
Oh
and
my God.
I was like, why would you do that? oh my gosh, you could have burned down the building. So, but
The
yeah.
end of the night, everybody's intelligence, everybody's spatial awareness just goes all the way down.
Yeah. And
Oh,
I was
I'm
like,
so
should
glad
I
it
keep
worked out and
painting?
you're
Should I
safe.
back up? Yeah.
Yeah, you run. Grab the painting and run. Oh my gosh. Oh, yeah, that would be because it happened so fast too, I'm sure. I'm sure it was kind of like,
Mhm.
what do
Yeah,
I
it was
do?
like
So,
nobody who would do that. You wouldn't think somebody would do that because you should know that would happen if you were to do that. So I was very, very taken aback. I did back up. I didn't move as fast as if something did happen. I definitely was not moving as fast as I could have.
yeah.
Um, I know most of my weddings, I'd say I've had really good experiences. I wouldn't even say I probably have one nightmare client. I don't know if you want to talk about that, but I probably had one nightmare client,
Love to hear it.
and this was a few years ago. But okay, I'll say this: it's not the client; it was the expectation. I was a gift. They didn't hire me,
Mhm.
and so I
Yeah.
think if they were to go out in the world and hire their own life painter, they won't have chosen me, and I'm fine with that. But when they got their painting, they were like, "Oh, I don't like how this looks." Usually I send photos for approval
Yeah.
before I put a top coat.
Yeah.
And they're like, I kind of like how it looked at the wedding. And I said, well, I discussed with you that I work in two different layers. So the first layer at the wedding, and then
Yeah.
I paint more into the painting. Now, once I add more, I can't take it
Mhm.
off. You get to the point where you can like overwork your painting. And she was like, yeah,
Mhm.
this is not doing it for me. I want it how it was. And I'm like, what do you want me to do? Take off the painting? And she's like, I don't know, but I just don't like it. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, do you want your money back? Do you want me to redo it? What do you want? And at that time, since this was a few years ago, I didn't really have anything in place for situations like that. And so they were like,
Yeah.
no, I don't want the money back. Just redo it. And I was like, okay. And so I redid it and she loved it. But if I
Okay.
knew that was the style she was going for to begin with, I would have worked in that style. But I do think like when it comes to clients and choosing their artists, they really do have to be thoughtful about what they're looking for in an artist. Because like I said, I really don't think she would have gone out there looking for me, at least at that time. Um, but yeah, it
Mhm.
was it was a hard email, and I got the email while I was at another wedding. So I was at a wedding painting, and my
Oh.
phone dings. The guests haven't come in yet, so I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna check my email really quickly, and I see this long email, and it wasn't like, hey, we don't like this, make some changes. It was disappointment. Like it was
Yeah.
paragraph after paragraph after paragraph, and I was just like, oh my god, and it ruined my mood for the rest of the night. And funniest thing, that painting that I did that night is like one of my favorite paintings, and people always referring back to it when they want me to do something.
Yeah.
But I was just like, you could have definitely said it in fewer words, and I would have still understand where you were coming from. I'm just a person.
Oh.
Oh, but yeah, so I do
Oh,
always
I'm
feel so
so sorry.
sad.
Yeah, it's such a sensitive thing. Like
Mm,
I mean, you take great pride in what you create, and then what you're doing for the client. Like you want them to be happy, and so there any words of disappointment. I don't know many artists who wouldn't take something like that very personally and very seriously. And I think it was kind of you to offer a refund or to offer to fix it. Did you add anything to your contract or your process after that
I
to not
did. I
to avoid
added
having that
that.
happen again?
Yes, I added the fact that you are choosing me as an artist, and whatever piece I create matches what I create in general. So I can't make changes to fit,
Hmm.
whatever other artists. Obviously I said it in a more professional way, but I can't make changes to fit another artist that
Yeah,
you've seen. And I have seen some clients who love doing that where they send you photos of another artist and they're like, this one.
yeah,
And I'm like, that work is beautiful. but it's not my work and it's not what I'll produce for you. So, but yeah.
Oh, 100%. There's something very organic about, even if we take it in the studio, there's something very organic about what we are able to create in the moment live.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I tell people that all the time. Like, I love all the different styles that are out there. And I would struggle to replicate a style that's not mine in the studio. Impossible to expect that I can do that live at a wedding. That's just not like what happens when, your eye, brain, hand situation, that whole process, it literally would not happen. I would fail miserably if I tried to mimic another artist style ever. And so yeah. And then it's always fun for me to say, I know who did that painting. I can give you their email address and you can email them, because if you love their work, which I do as well, I don't want you to hire me. I'm not going to be able to do that. If you love my work, great. But if you love this person's work, here is their home address. Like, go find them, hire them, and then be 100% happy and satisfied. And then I get to reach out to that artist and say, guess what? I'm sending you a referral, and they are qualified because they want your work over mine. And I'm happy about this exchange here. So that's really wonderful. Thank
Yeah.
you so
And
much for sharing all of these really juicy
of
stories. Ooh, yeah.
course.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, and the good thing about this particular client is not that they wanted another art, like nothing too different from what I could have made. So what I did end up creating
Mm-hmm.
for them just ended up being a more simplified version of what I already make. And so they were so
Yeah.
happy with the final painting, and they had nothing but great things to say afterwards. So I am at peace with that whole situation. I just want to say that.
Good. I'm glad it ended well. I've had bad experiences that they I can say they ended well because they ended, and we
Mhm.
got to move on. Both of us. There's there's nothing more frustrating than missing, like, that miscommunication or that missed expectation, because you're like, the job is done, and or almost done, and we there was a point earlier in the conversation, or they're not able to communicate what it is that they would rather, and so then we're just kind of like at an impasse, and we're like, I hate that I wasn't able to blow your mind with this painting. And it
Yeah.
happens sometimes, especially when you're working in the industry for years. It
Mhm.
happens, and
It does.
got to move on. um Awesome stories. Thank you for sharing the tea.
Thank
I
you.
love it. Do you have any advice? Any lesson that you've learned that was like, people need to know this? Advice for our newer live wedding painters.
Um, I want to say be patient with your growth. Like it's coming. You're not going to be what you want to be tomorrow. Um, whether it's growing your clientele or creating your style or really finding your footing in the industry, be patient. Just keep working and pushing yourself, and all of it will just come into fruition over time.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's the hardest thing. That was the hardest thing for me at the beginning of my career, comparing my beginning to someone else's middle. You know,
Yeah.
just give it the time, and day by day, and create, and then grow with your own style, like grow at your own pace. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Where can people follow you? You already shared your website. Where can people follow
Yes.
you on Instagram and other social media?
Follow me on Instagram, on TikTok, and I'm also on YouTube. I don't know if you do YouTube, but I am
Yay!
on YouTube.
Yes.
So
Yes,
Ruth
I do.
Oneya dot illustrations, which is RUTHONEYA dot illustrations.
Thank you so much. Thanks for coming hang out with me. You're so
Thank
sweet.
you.
I'm
Thank
glad
you
that you're
for
no
letting
longer
me.
burned out, and you're nice and creatively inspired and everything.
Yeah.
What's the next thing before we go? What are you excited about that's like right around the corner? Like something that you're looking forward to?
Well, right around the corner. I'll say my new brand that I've updated. So my branding update. Um, Part of that is also it's something I've seen from your page is the experience that I give my clients when opening their paintings that they receive. So I have an update coming on that one, and also some original paintings that I'm working on. And hopefully, I'll have a show next year. I really don't know much about that, so I'd love any advice you could give me. But I would love to have a show and possibly have a sale and all that stuff that people do. I never really got that experience when I was in college because I wasn't an art major, and then afterwards I've never been able to focus on creating you know paintings that are from my own vision. And so this really gave me the opportunity to do so, and I'm very nervous and also excited to just see how people will take it in, because it is something different. It's
Yeah.
not sentimental to them. So I do
Hmm.
find it, I don't know, I'm so nervous. I don't know. I think I've just done so much commission work and
That's
so
so
much
exciting.
personalization. So I don't
Hmm.
know.
No, I
Mhm.
know that's the struggle when we're so used to the ease of commissions and that process, like getting hired to do a job, so you're going to get paid, so it's like worth your
Mhm.
time. And then doing the original work, it takes so much courage to pour out your heart and create these original things that inspire you, that are a
Mhm.
culmination of what you love and are doing just on your own independently, and then to put them out in the world and hope they sell. Oh my gosh, it takes an immense amount of courage.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to see your original work. I don't think I've ever seen your
Mhm.
original work, so this is gonna be so exciting. I will keep everyone posted when Ruth is ready to
Please.
announce her
Yes.
show. We will share about it on the podcast. Thanks for hanging out with us today, Ruth. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll talk
Thank
to
you.
you
You
soon.
too.
Thank you for tuning in and joining us on this journey of artistic exploration, entrepreneurial growth, and personal development. Remember, you have the power to create a life that is both fulfilled and balanced. If you enjoyed today's podcast, please subscribe to The Composed Artist on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. And don't forget to leave us a review. Your feedback means the world to us and helps us reach more creatives like you. Until next time, keep creating, keep dreaming, and keep pursuing that composed life. You got this.